Good evening, sirs, mums, ladies and gentlemen. I am 25217027, ex-Corporal Vincent. I'm sure, as you can see by my beautiful cap badge, I am from the Royal Welsh Fusiliers. Now, lots have gone on over the last couple of years. Today, I am going to give you an icebreaker, okay? An icebreaker is something that we do in the army. It's very effective. I have done 2 icebreakers on 2 different promotion courses. First, to become Lance Corporal, and secondly, to become Corporal. Now, on both icebreakers, I was the only individual to have a round of applause. Twice. So to that end, I thought, what better exercise to do than icebreaker? I am going to be talking to you for a 60-minute period today, sirs, ma'ams, ladies and gentlemen. Irrelevant of who you are, I believe you will learn something, okay? If you are in the military, I am an infantry section commander, okay? For those of you unaware, everything within the military revolves around the infantry. And everything within the military, we are, as the full screws, we are the tip of the spearhead. I would like to apologise for my shitty wallpaper. And that's the first time that I'm going to swear today, okay? I need to address this as if I'm dressing young individuals, okay? Because what I'm trying to achieve is I'm trying to get this content to go viral. So I am going to address you as though Captain Stephen Healy was in the room himself. He is an officer. He unfortunately passed away on Herrick 16. He was very close to me, Steve. So to that end, I'm trying to make my the blokes that passed away on operations proud. I'm trying to make sure that they didn't die in vain. At this moment, our country is in absolute turmoil, and I believe with the veterans' help, we can fix this. I've recently seen a veteran. I'm seeing more and more all the time. There was a veteran, speaking of the sea drills. I recently shared it on top of my Facebook. And good effort for all these veterans that are trying to get us out of this turmoil state, okay? Because it's, in my opinion, it's an easy fix. Okay, so I joined the army when I was 16. I done many exercises, Falklands. We were based in Cyprus. We went to Africa a bunch of times. I was obviously operationally focused, as you can see by the painting above my head. This is Operation Mostrak. Okay, this was in Herrick 11. I done four Herricks. Herrick 6, Herrick 8, Herrick 11 and Herrick 16, okay? You can't see it as it's too far away, but under the painting there are 2 cuttings of newspaper articles that I made once I come home from theatre. I was awarded a Joint Commander's Commendation my very first day as a NCO in Herrick 11. That was my very first day on the ground. For an e-posting, I was unfortunately unable to go to ITC Catterick because, believe it or not, I was caught smoking cannabis in school when I was a very young boy. But that, ultimately, I failed my CRB, and I would be the first junior NCO to go to military intelligence, and I would become the Army's infantry advisor for military intelligence. Whilst I was on that e-posting, I received 2 times CO's coins by 2 different commanding officers for excellence. Okay, blokes in the military might not think that's a big deal. However, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to teach you, and I believe, you know, it's good to show that on 2 separate occasions I was awarded a CO's coin for, as it says on the bottom there, excellence. Okay, they thought my teaching abilities was excellent. Thank you ever so much, sirs. So Since I've left the military, I was medically discharged in December 2020. The way that I was medically discharged was absolutely disgusting, considering I gave them 14 years of my life and I give them 10 out of 10. You know, I was always on parade, my kit was always in good order, I was always one of the stronger members of my platoon, and for me to get discarded the way I did was something out of a horror movie. Also, I say recently, but since that period, I found that many of my soldier friends have had the same detail. That's why we're seeing so many veterans out on the streets. Go and watch James O'Keefe's documentary Line in the Sand to see what they're doing across the world, in President Trump's opinion, to destabilize countries. Now, personally, I like Trump. Okay, I know there's a lot of backlash and negative feedback on him. However, I think he's a good guy. Now, failing that he isn't a good guy, do I look like somebody waiting for somebody to come and save me? The answer to your question is no, okay? I am not waiting for anybody. Now, unfortunately, I am limited to what I can do within Civvy Street because of something called lawfare. I went to court last week and I had a full day with my legal team. I now call them my legal family. I basically, since being medically discharged, I have been fighting the COVID virus. The jab. The jab that was mandatory. Now, I believe that to be of a biological weapon nature. Now, the evidence that we have for this is, it's overwhelming. You can check the VAERS database, the DMED database, the emergency writ. We have many doctors. For example, Dr. Francis Boyle, he is a professor of international law. He claims the mRNA technology meets the criteria for a biological technological weapon and or weapon of mass destruction. Now, that's not Cpl Vincent's opinion, ex-Cpl Vincent. That is Dr. Francis Boyle, and there is so much evidence to support this now. So it's been very difficult for me to spread this message. I am, in my opinion, the most censored man in Wales. I don't know anybody as censored as I. Please, if you know somebody, leave them in the comments. But I have made tens of millions of people aware. Tens of millions of people, okay? I have ultimately planted seeds, and I believe it has changed the course of every man, woman and child getting jabbed up as per Klaus Schwab's SOP. Now, the reason that I'm coming on the internet and doing this in, as you can see, full cam and concealment, I've got a cam on my face, I've got my webbing on, C4, etc., is because we are desperate, sirs, mums. I arrested a police officer on the 4th of October 2022 for misconduct in a public office. On the 1st of October, a couple of days prior, we had the jab centre closed down. We had a Inspector Lippiat issue us a crime reference number, 522236390. He confirmed that there was serious evidence, and the content is out there. It's on my YouTube, it's in Telegram, and last night I sent it over to one of my video ICs to shorten under an hour so we can get that on the TikTok platform. Unfortunately, they pushed my case back 4 years. Now, if I was to have successfully arrested that individual, what that means is I would have created case law. It would have essentially given me a field promotion in Civvy Street, because if I was the guy that invented the case law, I would then be able to go down to any police station and threaten police officers with arrest if they fail to do their duty. It's ultimately like a sheriff. Now, I believe that's what we need, because unfortunately, I appreciate not everybody is a soldier. However, we have a total lack of masculinity within our communities. And this is, in my professional opinion, due to many reasons. For example, the foods that we eat is full of chemicals. These vapes that you smoke in, alcohol beverage, drugs intake, every film that you see that's from Hollywood, they promote you to be weak. And unless you're trained, as I am, to smell out the deception, right, you, an average individual, will not see this. Unfortunately, I've been moulded within the military, and I know no other way. So what we can do about this? Well, we can start trying to be better as men, okay? We can try to stop watching this gunk. We can try to stop eating this gunk. Basically, just get yourself in a healthy lifestyle environment. Now, unfortunately, I am unable to wait for every Tom, Dick and Harry to catch up to me on the battlefield. So, what else we can do? Well then, my legal team advised me that with money, justice isn't cheap, but with money, we will be able to take this PC 693 of Avon and Somerset Constabulary to court, okay? Unfortunately, that's going to cost $40,000. 40,000 sterling, sorry, my bad. I've already raised $1,300 in one account and $350 sterling in another account on Buy Me a Coffee and GoFundMe. Please, ma'am, sirs, ma'ams, if you are able to donate to my cause, I will be putting the link to Buy Me a Coffee. I'm not putting the other link because the other one taxes me. Not only does it tax me, but when the money accumulates after a few days, it just forces it into my account. Now, I would prefer that it didn't do that. So to that end, I will only be promoting the Buy Me a Coffee anymore. But I mean, I know some people don't like the Buy Me a Coffee because unfortunately it's not transparent. Whereas the GoFundMe, you can see that everybody's donated, what everybody's donated. What I'd say about that, sirs, ma'ams, is if anybody wants to see my the Buy Me a Coffee, you only have to ask, okay? I can screenshot it and upload it, no problem. Now, that one doesn't tax me either, guys, so that is the only one that I'll be promoting. Now, I've had some civilians, bless them, and they are on social media saying, "Oh, Vince, oh, we'd love to see what you get up to on a weekend." Because they're idiotic and they are weak, okay? Let me remind you, sirs, ma'ams, okay? When you become a Lance Corporal, your job is to administrate the section. Now, for example, company funds. Company funds need to be collected every month. It is the Lance Corporal that will collect them. I have in here, so this is my legal bundle for the citizen's arrest of a police officer. We need to create case law with this. We need to get this in front of a judge. Now, I have in here my the Joint Commanders Commendation write-up. I have my last SJAR. I would actually like to read you something off my last SJAR. This is off, look at this. So this is something that was printed off. People were going around making flyers of myself. This was placed out in London. I live in South Wales. This is recruiting people to come and watch our court case. Because, sirs, ma'ams, you're not going to break your cognitive dissonance unless you really force it, okay? You know, I'm obviously not a doctor. I haven't studied psychology. However, I'm not stupid. I'm actually pretty smart, and I can see that the level of conditioning is vast. You know, as of last week, I have had stories about people suffering with mental health, and what's worse is I'm hearing stories of children wanting to kill themselves. Sirs, ma'ams of Britain, we are failing our people, okay? We should not have children wanting to commit suicide. We are currently living through a suicide epidemic. Now, who is going to fix this? Now, in my opinion, our government have been infiltrated by, they take many names. The deep state, the cabal, the Khazarian Mafia, etc. Okay? For ease, I'm going to brand them all as cabal. Okay? And here's the thing. If you have a police officer right at the bottom of the pecking order who's following unlawful orders, he may be a good guy and he may be indoctrinated, Stockholm Syndrome. However, if that individual is unable to digest the law and he's unable to do his job and he continually follows unlawful orders, he is as good as a cabal member. He may not know it, he may not see it, he may not be out raping children in his spare time, but he is part of the problem and he needs to push left, he needs to get out of our way. So, my S-jar, my last S-jar, I'm not going to read it all to you, just the last paragraph of my character reference. It's the last S-jar from Captain Keating. And again, OPSEC, I'm entitled to do name, rank, number, so no gobbing off in the cheap seats. I am utterly confident that his professionalism, integrity and honesty will make him an asset to any organisation that he may join in the future. Captain Keating's words. So please, sirs, ma'ams, I am authentic as it comes. Okay? I love my people. I love my country. It's the reason why I joined the military. There's so many flaws in our service. And again, I believe, in my professional opinion, it is the work of the cabal. For example, I done 2 years in therapy. I was never issued psilocybin to fix my mental health. I've recently had a friend die. He's dead. He's a brother of mine, okay? He's dead. I know because he was my best friend, he never tried psilocybin. He was suffering. My mother, okay, she was, I believe, in and around the 90-year-old period when she died. She had Alzheimer's. Now, Alzheimer's, we create what's known as neurogenesis every single day, okay? We create it. Now, psilocybin is the only food in the world to create psilocybin. That's not my opinion, that is a fact. When we stop creating neurogenesis naturally, do you know what it's known as? Dementia. Alzheimer's. My mother died and she was sick for the last years of her life. When I used to go down and visit her in the Saturn ward, she'd be screaming for her mother. Now, I never met Mary. That was my mother's mum. I never met Mary. But when I went down the hospital, she was screaming for her mother because she was so confused and her brain was deteriorating. Now, you can get psilocybin prescribed here in the United Kingdom. Only privately. Let that sink in. I am a veteran. Nobody offered it to me. Nobody even told me about it, sirs, ma'ams. It was a friend of mine, right? I became really, really suicidal. And a friend of mine told me, Vince, you need to try these. Another friend of mine, Stalker, he was blown up in this headache 11, okay? He hit an IED, he double amputated, he was a big casualty, okay? He scraped through. He suffered mental trauma, as you can imagine, okay? He told me that he was taking psilocybin when I was first diagnosed with PTSD. My immediate response was, buddy, you can't be taking that every day, that's not good for you. Because of my level of conditioning. Do you understand? We are all at a level of conditioning. Now, before I joined the military, I live in the skintest places in Wales, right? There's drugs up there. I took a lot of drugs. Psilocybin included. I used to take it by the handful when I was a kid. Now, immediately when my friend told me he was taking that every day, my mind struggled to process it because I seen it as this strong hallucinogenic that can, you know, that I didn't think that we should be taking every day. However, with some study and with some learning, I then found it's the only food in the world to create neurogenesis. Again, this is not my opinion, sirs, ma'ams. I give this information to people. People have sick mothers. They will not try it because of the level of their conditioning. Now, I became suicidal, right? I was very close to making a very serious mistake. My friend found out and he bought me my first load of micros. Within the first 5 weeks, within the first 3 weeks, sorry, I had 3 bad days. So I completely flipped my world around. I was having 1 good day a week. And then with these little tablets, I flipped that completely on its head. Do you think that the government don't know about this? And when I say government, I'm aware that the doctors don't know, but do you think that, you know, this information isn't widely available? You'd be mistaken to think so. It is their job to keep you unhappy and sick and weak because they can profit from you. Now again, if this is the first time that you're hearing this, it's hard to digest, but digest it you must, sirs, ma'ams. We are heading towards making this planet inhabitable. Extinction level event. That's Dr. Stephen Greer's words, not mine. Now, this can be fixed. It just requires you, men, to be manly. So, what can we do? I've already told you. I'm looking to raise £40,000. I will put the GoFundMe, the Buy Me a Coffee link in the caption. Please, if you're able to do so, sponsor us. Much of our content is reaching tens of millions. If we had 100,000 people to donate 50 pence a piece, then I would have enough money to take this individual to court. Again, if I created this case law, it would be fast downhill spiral for the government. After speaking to my legal team the other day, I have another idea. Now, unfortunately, I can't give you that yet because I am being monitored by the police, by the courts, and, you know, people may think this is paranoid. You need to keep up, sirs, ma'ams. I have been doing this kind of content now for years, and I've done lives, and police officers come up to me and question me about things that I posted last night. So they're obviously monitoring my social media. What can we do? Well, I also have in here, there it is on the last page. This is the affidavit of Dr. Francis Boyle, okay? Now, if you have this affidavit of Dr. Francis Boyle, it states that we are, also the mRNA technology meets the criteria for a biological weapon. Now, in their own law, right, you are unable to fund terrorism as per the Terrorism Act 2000. So, if you have read this and you are continuing to pay your council tax, you are unfortunately funding terrorism, sirs, ma'ams. Now, I know this is a lot. I've gone to court this year and I've challenged said council tax. I stood in front of a judge, District Judge Thomas Jones, I forget, apologies. Again, it's on my, you know, it's out there. But I tried to submit this evidence to a judge. He wouldn't allow me to submit anything. Now, if you think in one of the richest countries in the world, Great Britain, that is acceptable for a judge to not allow a decorated veteran to submit evidence, you'd be mistaken. So I said to the judge, well, that's fine, but I'm not paying that. And they say, don't explain it to me, explain it to the bailiffs. And then I said to him, you send the bailiffs to my house and I'll arrest him the same as I arrested PC 693. And he said, okay, thank you, and run away. And that was the end of the conversation. Now, they do send me letters. I have also paid this house off using what's known as a promissory note. Now, I had a lot of negative feedback after that. You have to understand, sirs, ma'ams, I don't care about paying this mortgage. The reason that I don't want to continue sending them funds is because I know them to be of a treasonous nature. So my legal family advised me to pay it with a promissory note, and I did. I went to court, again, same detail. The judge wouldn't allow us to submit anything. He wasn't happy until this veteran was living out on the streets. They do not give a shit about our heroes. They don't give a shit about any of us, okay? Now, I suffer with PTSD, as I've made you aware, so my admin isn't great, okay? I lost the receipt. So basically, it's one of the main things that you do with the promissory note. You're not to lose the receipt, and I lost the receipt. Now, I went to court, I explained this, they didn't care. Now, since then, I've found the receipt. Well, that's not entirely true. I have found, my legal team know somebody of a lawyer that can find things that are sold to trusts. Now, once something is sold to a trust, it's nearly impossible for you to find. However, I know somebody that knows somebody that can do it for a small fee of, I think it was £150 or £250 per promissory note. £250 it was. So I have found both of my promissory notes, which means the banks sold them. Now, I no longer owe that money to the mortgage because my promissory note has been sold. So I owe that money now to the promissory note. But there are terms and conditions that they have to meet with the promissory note. For example, they don't just get the fiat currency straight out of my bank. They collect said currency at my front door. You have a 90-year period to pay it off. Now, this is not my opinion. This is Lord Denning's rulings. So, the 90-year period takes this mortgage down to £31 a month. The company are based in Birmingham. Do you think a company based in Birmingham are able to come from Birmingham to South Wales every month and collect £31 a month from my front door? You know, it would cost them £40 juice, for example. Now, just because that they have made this error doesn't mean what I'm doing is lawful. We went to court, the judge knobbed me off, and still issued a warrant of control for them to remove me from my home. Now, I often share the knowledge that I have on social media as I'm doing today, and I have it in black and white. The bailiffs will not come and collect that money or myself from my property. Now, think about that. The judge have told them, go and collect 40 grand. The bailiffs have said, we're not going to that property and collecting the 40 grand. Why? Why will they not come to my property, but they will come to yours? Well, again, in my professional opinion, it is because I know my rights. For example, if any individual comes and tries to collect tax off me, but he's unwilling to digest this, remember what I said earlier about following unlawful orders. Now, in civil law, or admiral law, or maritime, whatever you want to, refer to it as, but in their law, we have what's known as a citizen's arrest. It comes under Section 24A of PACE, Police and Criminal Evidence Act. We can use reasonable, proportionate and necessary force to detain individuals. Now, the citizen's arrest is exactly the same as card alpha for all of you serving in the military. If you honestly believe that a crime is being committed, if you can stand in that box and put your hand on the Bible and you swear that you honestly believe that that individual was committing a crime, you are entitled to conduct a citizen's arrest. Now, I would have liked to have got some case law and proven that. However, I've already explained to you that they're using lawfare against me. And, you know, rightfully so. Because if I got my foot in the government door, I would rebuild it myself, okay? As a corporal, right, you build soldiers. What I mean by that is, an infantry corporal, we take you from basic training, we take a recruit, so, you know, you was a civvy yesterday, we take you in, and we teach you everything. All of your weapon drills, all of your fieldcraft drills, all of the tactics, everything, okay? It breaks my heart that some soldiers don't know your place. Now, soldiers, we don't get... Apologies, somebody's ringing me. We don't get taught a hell of a lot of law on the job, as I'm sure many of you are aware. But we do have maths. The law of armed combat, or the law of armed conflict, sorry, is a math that is required for you to listen in every year. Now, we know with the weapon handling stuff and, you know, the PFA, the FIS, what sergeants will do is they'll just say, they'll come up to the full screw, they'll go up to the PTI, they'll go up to the officer given the law of armed conflict lecture and say, oh, just scribble my name down there. Oh, I'm confident, just scribble my name down there. Weak. You are part of the problem. You are part of the problem why my community members, children, are now suffering mental health and wanting to kill themselves, okay? You are part of the problem because you are lazy soldiers. I have been talking to soldiers as recent as last week, and they say, oh, Vince, you're obviously more knowledgeable than me in this criteria. What does that even mean, you crowbag? I am not serving anymore. I am a veteran. For you to say that I'm more knowledgeable than you, and it's your job to protect us, honestly, a lot of you guys need to check yourself. You are absolutely disgusting. We have been trying to submit this now for years. Now, if I was 10 days ahead of you, all right, fair one. If I was 6 months ahead of you, not acceptable, but for us to be years ahead of the soldiers, who the hell do you think you are? Well, I'll tell you something, soldiers. Sit down and get your notebook and pens out, right? All of the Royal Welsh, you know about Cpl Covid. My community members call me Cpl Covid, and it is a battle honour. They call me Cpl Covid because I have made, as I've already stated, tens of millions of people aware of these crimes, of the violation of the Geneva Convention and the Nuremberg Code. Tens of millions. I was in court last week asking a judge, sir, do we think we're above the Geneva Convention in the UK? And he said, well, I know we're not the Geneva Convention, but I don't know about the Nuremberg. These guys are going to find out sooner or later. Any soldier turning a blind eye to this legislation, you are as guilty as the cabal members at the top. Do you understand yourself? You need to digest this information. You need to pass it up your chain of command. I have so many soldiers, oh, but Vince, I don't know what to do. Do your job. Do your job. You are making our ancestors embarrassed. These guys, like Captain Ely, would be turning in his grave if he seen the state of our communities in Wales. And you are the guys. For the military that have forgotten your role, right, the reason that the military was formed was to make sure that government overreach doesn't happen. And again, how easy is it to approach a chain of command? You are violating everything, every characteristic it means to be a soldier. Solid C, selfless commitment. What does that mean, to be selfless? To put yourself in front of somebody else. And you're not even willing to approach your chain of command? That's Cowardice. That's not selfless. Respect for others. Are you respecting your community by allowing them to be poisoned? Are you respecting your troops by allowing them to be poisoned? Look, this is the other thing. I appreciate that this is a lot to digest. I really do. But you boys are soldiers. In case you've forgotten, digest it you must. I know this sounds like something out of a horror movie, but who are you listening to? We have Dr. Stephen Greer. Forget Greer. No, wrong. It's not Dr. Francis Boyle, apologies. We have Dr. Francis Boyle. However, check the emergency writ. It's widely available now. You guys not checking it. You guys not doing your due diligence. You are being silent. Check the law. If you are silent, you are complicit. I remember on Herrick 11, we were on patrol and we nearly lost the end man, Jones 75, also known as Phil Mitch. Great soldier, but sometimes these things happen. It is a simple drill. All around defence, mutual support, checking the guy behind you. Now you guys are failing in your duty. You're not checking on us. You're not checking on your community members. I honestly believe that if the Royal Welsh continue to do nothing, I believe the majority of you are going to go to jail. And I don't want you to go to jail. Just so we're out in the clear. I would prefer you to do your job and be the heroes of our story. But there is no way, sirs, ma'ams, that the cabal are going to win this round. Trust me. Trust me. They claim that in Operation Paperclip, after the Nuremberg trials, many of the Khazarian mafia, Nazis, cabal, whatever you want to call them, they claim that many of them flee. Now, again, guys, that was a long time ago. Okay, 1944. That was a long time ago. I can guarantee you that is not going to happen this time. They didn't have Cpl Covid last time. They didn't have the internet last time, okay? I will not stop. The work that we have done, it cannot be undone. The last time that I went to court, one of my supporters came, right? And she said, "Oh, Vince, I love the work that you do. It can't be wrong." She said, "You are educating me. I am challenging my council, government." She said, "I'm telling all my friends, I can already see the Great Awakening taking place. I can already see the ripples flying through our society and life, okay? If you soldiers don't start getting a move on, I promise you guys, I honestly believe that you are going to be sorry. You will be disciplined. As per the soldiers that were disciplined in 1944 to 1945 through the Nuremberg trials. Now, I don't want that for my soldiers. I love my soldiers. And it's not my fault that I am tactically ahead of you, okay? But you are failing your people and you need to start doing your jobs. It's as simple as that. Please, sirs, ma'ams, if you are watching this content, we need it to go live. We need it to go viral. Please share, okay? What I'm asking members of my community to do, if they want to support me, is go and do your own fundraising. And tell, your campaign can be raising funds to support communities, to strengthen communities, as per what I'm doing. That's all I want to do. I want us to be left alone as God intended to live in peace and harmony. I am spiritual now. As I've just said, in my 14-year military career, I was what's known as an infidel. I didn't have any belief system. I didn't believe in the soul. I didn't believe in God. However, I had a crash course of spirituality, if that's what you want to call it, when I had what's known as a CE5 event. I had a live CE5 event take place at this home. It was 9/11/22. It was early hours on a Wednesday morning. I was present, excuse me, with a friend of mine, Connor Edwards. Funny thing about Connor, he has 4 older brothers and sisters. His initials are CE5. I know. Connor was marching up and down this very living room, giggling to himself, before I was struck by lightning. He claims that when I asked him what was happening, he giggled to me and he said, "Oh, Vince, they move so fast." That's what he said to me. Now, I have friends that were present in on the mountain in my community. I live in the valleys, and they seen a flashing orb whizzing through the sky. Their words, not mine. I didn't see that. We went outside because Connor invited me to, and there was 2 witnesses from my next door neighbour and Connor. 3 of them claimed that they seen some lightning bolt or something of that nature. I felt it, but I didn't see it. Immediately after the lightning, I came in my home and I cried. I cried like I've never cried before. Not when I've lost friends in theatre, not when I lost my mother. Nothing got me that upset, and I felt like there was a great weight on my shoulders, like I had this great responsibility to pass this information down to you, the general public. I was only made aware of Dr. Stephen Greer 2 days prior, 48 hours before I was lightning bolted. I would advise you to go and watch his unacknowledged Close Encounters of a Fifth Kind and The Lost Century and How to Reclaim It. So they are his best documentaries, in my opinion. But he speaks of these celestial beings. I believe what came down to visit us that night was an angel. Our interpretation of an angel. I mean, some people call it aliens, some people call it angels. We have many times tried to fire nuclear bombs into space. I don't know whether you're aware of this. Dr. Stephen Greer teaches of it. We have never been able to do so. We've tried many times, but we've never been successful. These celestials are apparently misfiring the missiles. They're also telepathically making the individuals aware that they're trying to fire the missiles. Stop blowing up your beautiful planet. They're also making them aware, if you go to an extinct level event, we can intervene. That sounds very angel-like to me. So after that, and I also have this celestial, I captured 2 minutes 11 seconds of it on film, okay? So basically what happened was it turned the electricity off on my mountain. Everything. No electric in the street or on the lights, no electric in the house, nothing. The mountain was pitch black. We went outside. My friend Connor, his initial CE5, he was connected to this orb. And again, go and watch the content. It is absolutely outstanding. Connor is talking to this orb. Connor says to this orb, or he says to me rather, "Look, Vince, it's coming closer, it's coming closer." After a while, Connor says to this orb, "Come on then." Now, after he says that, this thing sends what I think is an electromagnetic pulse, and it ignites the lamppost outside my home, the one that's inside the video. It also simultaneously sets my best friend's mother's car alarm off, which is the car outside. It's directly in front of the lamppost. You tell me, sirs, ma'ams, what is that? I was an infidel up until that point. It was the most surreal experience of my life. Bearing in mind, I'd done 4 grueling operations, 4 operations in theatre. And we've seen it all. We've lost friends, we've had our blokes hit by IDs, shot, you name it, we've seen it all. The maddest night of my life was 9/11/22, right outside my front door. And again, the video that I have, so I am Vince7027 on Facebook. There's an underscore for Instagram. I am at Welsh Sheriff on X, YouTube and TikTok. The content lives on all of my platforms. It is the first video that I uploaded to TikTok. It is 25217027 on my YouTube channel. That's what I've named it so I can find it easy. Please go and watch this content, right? If you are an infidel, go and watch this content and tell me what the hell you think that thing is. Some people claim it's the moon, okay? I did have a video of me going out after the incident and showing you the moon was on the other side of the mountain. Unfortunately, I've since then lost my phone and no longer have access to that video, so you only have my word. But as Captain Keaton have said in my last S-jar, my integrity and my professionalism and honesty will make me an asset to no matter what organisation I see fit to join in the future. And I want to continue serving my people. I mean, nobody's paying me for the work that I've been doing over the last couple of years. Okay? I'm not getting paid for this. As a matter of fact, it's causing me trauma. They have separated me from my child. So that initially is what happened with me after I got medically discharged. I was having a social services guy come and visit me, and he made false allegations on a report. Now, the baby's mother got wind of this, and, she obviously didn't like it. But then when I confirmed where this information came from, and went back to the military, because I was still serving in the military at this time, nobody could help me. My sergeant major, my captain, I came under the whiz, wounded, injured and sick. And nobody could help me from the whiz. As a matter of fact, they were extremely disrespectful. I went to court some time after that because, I hadn't seen my boy in years, and, I still haven't seen him now for 6 years. 6 years I've been without my child, and they wonder why veterans are killing themselves. So I went to court, and the mother was concerned about my recent closure of vaccine centres, and the guardian that was appointed to my child from social services, she claims, sit down, because this is a lot. She claims that I was giving my son medical misinformation that could lead to vaccine hesitancy in the future. And when I submitted to her this, she said, that's not my job description, I don't have to read that. So she claims that I'm wrong, she claims that I'm giving medical misinformation, but she's unwilling to digest the medical literature that I was reading. And that's where we are. And that's what thanks you get for being a veteran. 14 years, Royal Welsh Fusilier. Recently I've gone viral. I say I go bloody viral all the time. 13th of last month, I attended the Freedom Festival in London, and it was something. I mean, it was one of the most humbling experiences of my life. I wore twos. I burned my medals. I had thousands of people come up to me and thank me for my service. And some of them were even addressing me as Cpl Covid. There were even veterans thanking me for everything that I've done, introducing me to members of their families. Now, the content that I shared online went viral, And I had many soldiers, okay, thinking that you're Charlie Big Spuds, and they were saying some horrendous things to me. One of them said that I was a disgrace to all those fallen soldiers that perished in Operations Herrick. One little crowbag even said that I should have been wearing my tools when I burnt them. Now some of the soldiers that were gobbing off, you're that idiotic and you're that unprofessional. You're doing this, like I can tell, some are trolls, some hide behind fake accounts, but some of you fools are saying it from your authentic Facebook and Instagram pages. And I'm telling you something now, crowbags, you are lucky that I'm not still serving, because I would have found out exactly where you lived and I would have rocked up on your front doorstep and I would have said, come on then, let's have it off now, big boy, in front of your family. That's why, in case you fools have forgotten, we have OPSEC. OPSEC is so you guys don't have the enemy come to your front door. And some of you, honestly, you are absolutely... Clown is not the word for you guys. Clown is not the word for you. Soldiers, it's time for you to pull this out of your hoop and start helping your community, okay? Any individual that digests the affidavit of Dr. Francis Boyle and does nothing, you are as good as the Nazis. You are as good as the highest level cabal. You are no good. You are no good to us as a community. I beg. I've nearly come up to the hour. Okay, I had other things planned, but we have much grounds to cover. Sirs, ma'ams, we are really struggling in our communities. Suicide is through the roof. You know, everything negative is amplified. People are taking more drugs now. People are drinking more now. People are neglecting their children more now. People are uneducated on simple remedies. For example, psilocybin creating neurogenesis. It is the only food in the world to produce it, and it can do wonderful things to a mind that is broken. It is the only thing that works for me. I done 2 years on pig farmers, venlafaxine, diazepam, temazepam, you name it, I've had them. And psilocybin is the only one that allows me to leave my house and I'm able to talk to other people. I'm not happy, as you can clearly tell, but it allows me to go to work. And by work, I mean expose corruption within the government. Anyway, I beg and I pray that my soldiers, you start doing your jobs before more children are unfortunately killed, okay? Needlessly. I think I'm going to leave it there, sirs, moms. I think we've covered enough. Civilians, please, or anybody, you know, don't be afraid to share this content if you are military personnel. We need to start acting like men. Men, okay? Now, as I said, I was in court last week. I had a full day speaking to my legal team. I've come up with a plan. Now, I'm not going to mention that plan now, but what I can say is, follow me. Follow my social media for now. Within a couple of weeks, I'm going to finalize said plan, push it out on social media, and hopefully it's the start of something beautiful. It's the start of us taking our sovereignty back within our communities, okay? I have so many ideas on how to fix Wales and ultimately Britain, okay? With a strong Wales comes a strong England, strong Scotland, etc. but it requires us to do the work. It requires us to get out of our house and go and stand and watch and learn. Like, if we're not doing these things, sirs, mums, things are not going to change. Okay? I am Cpl Covid. I love the call sign. It is an absolute battle honour, okay? I'm more proud of being a branded Cpl Covid, dubbed Cpl Covid by my community, than if I was awarded the Victoria Cross, which is the highest honour a soldier can have for doing an act of valour. And the reason for that is, people don't know you're a VC winner unless you have your number 2s on with your medal on your chest. Everybody in my community members, they know what I've done, and they all address me as Cpl Covid. The children, they know this jab to be bad news. Like, the next generation are on it. This is the win. It is ultimately only a matter of time. And again, I believe Trump to be a good guy. I believe Trump. I went to the Heritage Party a couple of weeks ago, and they were giving, they give a full day of presentations, and some of the experts in their field got up and said, it looks like Trump is undoing the damage of the cabal for the last 100 years. And I agree. But I'm not putting all my chips on it. I'm not betting on President Trump. I'm betting on nobody other than myself, because I know I can get the job done. But I can't do it on my own, guys. Every time that I go to court, every time that I go and arrest somebody, it requires witnesses. So please, start moving. Start becoming healthy. Stop eating shit. Stop going out in the piss every day. Stop taking a bunch of drugs. Stop being weak. Because you are embarrassing for the ancestors that died. They fought and died for this wonderful country. And some of you are absolutely embarrassing. Sirs, mums, thank you ever so much for your time. Pull your thumb out. A lot of us are, you know, starting to come together and starting to do it, but we just need far, far more. Okay, far, far more. Please, if you are able to donate, the link is in my bio on all of the social media platforms that I've mentioned. Please donate 50 pence minimum, you know, as much as you can. I'm going to put £1,000 in. We need 40 to 50,000 pounds. We've still got a long way to go, but I have no doubt in my mind, nothing's impossible. That's my mentality. After I've been to theatre and I've fought, I now understand that anything, we can achieve anything we put our minds to, okay? This is simply another war. A world war is simply a series of sexual attacks, okay? So we just need to keep going, one foot in front of the other, eating an elephant, one meal at a time. Remain optimistic, take your supplements, be healthy, learn about the endocannabinoid system, learn about psilocybin, look after your families, and you'll be seeing a lot more of me. That's my promise. I love you all. Thank you all so much, troops.